Okay, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me for our virtual cooking class today. Again, my name is Kate Watts. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist with the Live Life Well Employee Wellbeing team. We've got a good group on today, so thank you for joining me during your lunch. We are going to be putting together a Greek lentil power bowl. So I'll be sending out the recording of this video with the recipe. And if you're watching on our Live Life Well YouTube page, you can find the recipe down in the description box below. So I went ahead and did a little preparation for this recipe. Everything comes together very quickly except for the lentils. So our main ingredient, our base to the Greek lentil power bowl, is our dried lentils. And so I went ahead and prepared these on the stovetop, just according to bag instructions or the recipe instructions. So the great thing about lentils is they are going to be really filling. They're a great substitute for meat. So this is going to be a vegetarian dish, but this is going to make sure we get plenty of protein and that we're not left feeling hungry after this meal. So this is really going to help fill us up and keep us satisfied. Lentils are in the legume family like beans. However, we cook them more similar to rice. With the dried lentils, it's not required to soak them overnight like you would dried beans, but you certainly can to lessen the cooking time. So for these, I just gave them a really good rinse. I put them in the pot, 1 cup of lentils with 2 cups of water, brought that to a boil. Once it was boiling, or I did add a tiny bit of salt to the water as well. Once that was boiling, we put the lid on and reduced it down to a simmer and let it simmer for 35 to 40 minutes. So that's the instructions according to our recipe. These bag instructions talk you through how to do an overnight soak or a quick soak if you want to take that approach. And then it would be a quicker cooking time on the stove. All right, so just for a reference here, just 1/4 cup of lentils dry, which prepares 1/2 cup cooked, provides 7 grams of fiber and 8 grams of protein. So when we talk about getting enough fiber, we're aiming for 25 to 30 grams per day. For adults, and anything with a percent daily value, really over 5%, is a good ballpark for fiber. This offers 25% of our daily value for that 7 grams. So just like other beans in this family, beans and legumes, including lentils, are some of your highest fiber foods. So it's a great way to get some heart healthy fiber in. Okay, so I've got our lentils already prepared. We'll be ready to serve those up. I've just been letting them stay warm on the stove. Of course, you can cook these ahead of time and also use them cold in this dish. This dish is very good with warm or cold lentils as the base. All of our other fresh ingredients are going to be served cold. Okay, so let me read out our ingredients and then we'll get to assembling everything. So we've got our 1 cup of dried lentils prepared with 2 cups of water. For our yogurt sauce, yogurt dill sauce, we're going to be using 1/4 cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt, which I have here. Okay. We are going to be using a tablespoon of fresh chopped dill, which I'm going to prepare first, a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. It calls for a teaspoon of honey. I'm going to be substituting that with maple syrup today. That's just what I have on hand and what my family likes. A 1/2 cup sliced cucumber, a 1/2 cup of our halved cherry tomatoes, 1/4 cup of diced red onion. I had some leftover sliced onions. I'm just going to dice these up. A 1/2 cup of chickpeas. And I did purchase the reduced sodium kind. It's just out of a can. So it's already, they're already prepared, cooked. So I just rinsed those really well. If you can find the unsalted or no salt added canned version, that is the best of the best. But we went for reduced sodium today. And then 1/4 cup of crumbled feta cheese. And if you need salt and pepper to taste, I used a little bit of salt to taste for the lentils, and I do love black pepper, so we might finish it off with that. So we're going to start by prepping our fresh ingredients. I'm going to cut up a tablespoon of these fresh dill. So I don't really particularly like the stems, although they are edible. You could just chop this all together. But I'm going to take just a little bit of extra time to remove the dill from the stems. Just by pulling these apart, I already instantly get that aroma. And so this dill and yogurt sauce is really going to be what takes this dish to the next level as far as that Greek cuisine, that Mediterranean cuisine. And I chose this recipe today because it's March, which is National Nutrition Month. If you didn't know, we are celebrating that on site all month, at different campuses, doing events for our Cone Health employees. We have a challenge going on for the month of March. And the theme, the national theme, is Food Connects Us, which I love that theme because that's really why I got into nutrition growing up, in the South. And I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but all of our family gatherings are around food, and it's just a really easy way to bring people together, right? It's also, for me, I found that it was a really easy conversation starter. People have no problem talking about food, right? It's like small talk, like the weather, right? Like anybody can talk about food. Everybody has opinions on food. And so it's just an easy way to connect with others, right? So the reason I chose this recipe is because another piece of that is food can help us connect with other cultures, with other parts of the world, and we can get to know just a little piece of a culture by exploring their cuisine and trying, purchasing ingredients that they use and learning about that. And I loved global nutrition going through school and everything. So I thought, let me highlight one of my favorite cuisines, which is the Greek and Mediterranean, in this easy power bowl today. So let me know in the comments, in the chat box, what is your favorite type of cuisine? Do you have one? All right, so I'm going to just kind of roll this into a ball and do a quick little slice and dice to kind of mince up our dill a little bit more fine. Smells amazing. All right. Here. I got my little bench scraper tool out today. Okay, so there is our tablespoon of dill. Now we're going to make our yogurt sauce. So we're going to do, the recipe calls for 1/4 cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. I'm just going to use this whole 5-ounce container. Make a little bit bigger batch. So this is a great base for lots of sauces and dips. We love the Greek non-fat yogurt because it's going to be obviously not have any saturated fat. It's going to have a good source of protein. Just this one container has 15 grams of protein. So we won't be using this whole thing in our bowl, but between the lentils and the chickpeas and our yogurt, we are getting plenty of protein without using an animal protein in this particular dish. Also, it's going to be lower in added sugars than the flavored yogurt. And of course, for a dip like this, a savory dip and dish, we want the plain. We do not want to accidentally purchase the vanilla or another flavor. I use this in place of sour cream all the time. So if you have a recipe that calls for sour cream, this is a wonderful substitution. The plain non-fat Greek yogurt. And you want to get Greek over regular because it's thicker, like a sour cream, and the Greek is what's going to have that boost of protein compared to your regular plain yogurt. All right, so with our yogurt, we are now going to add in our dill. We are going to add in a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. So I'm just going to cut this in half and then juice our lemon into our yogurt. Oh, that's a nice juicy one. That is definitely plenty. So we will save this other half for garnish. We can put it on the side of our bowl. So I'll go ahead and just cut that up. I'm going to remove the seeds here. When I'm using citrus for a garnish, I like to cut off the ends. I just think it looks a little nicer, a little cleaner. And then I'm going to cut it in half. And then let's see, we'll go in wedges like this. So just looks a little cleaner without the ends and the extra pith, I guess is what you would call the flesh in the inside. Okay, so we'll put those to the side to garnish. Okie doke. Now let's add in our maple syrup. Again, the recipe calls for honey. Just a little extra sweetness in here, just a teaspoon, just a little bit. And honestly, you could omit this altogether if you want. Okay. All right. So once we've got our yogurt, dill, lemon juice, and honey or other sweetener of choice, we're just going to give it a good little mix. So the lemon juice is not only adding flavor and marrying everything together well within this dish, but it's going to thin out our Greek yogurt so that we have a nice kind of dressing consistency. The dill you really don't want to skip. That is going to really, the dill and lemon together, give it that classic Greek flavor of a tzatziki sauce. You could use tzatziki sauce in place of this dip. We are going to have cucumber in our bowl. We're just not adding cucumber into the yogurt dip. If you're not big on dill, I would substitute maybe with something like parsley. It's going to be a different aroma, different flavor, but it would at least get you some fresh herbs into this dish, which for this sauce, the fresh herbs really make a difference. So there's what it's gonna, I got a little bit of dill on my spoon. Let's get that back in there. Okay. So here's what our sauce is looking like. We're just gonna put this to the side, and this is gonna be what we drizzle over our bowl as we finish it. All right, let me clean this a little bit. And we are going to start chopping up our fresh produce. Again, we're keeping it really simple. Grape tomatoes, I mean. Grape tomatoes, cucumber, and then we've got our chickpeas, our feta, and red onion. So let's go ahead and get our cucumber cut up first. Also, a great addition to this recipe would be olives. That's going to bring in another element of the Greek cuisine, nice heart-healthy fat. So I'm just going to thinly slice. Actually, you know what we're going to do? I'm not going to need all this. So first I'm going to cut it in half. Then I'm going to actually slice it in half. And then I'm going to lay those two pieces flat. And I'm going to slice it down the middle again. So now, as I come across and slice, I'm going to have nice quartered cucumbers. I think that's going to be a nice little size for our bowl. Okay. All right. This is going to be a nice, colorful bowl, nice and filling, perfect for a lunch in the coming spring months. Okay, let's get our tomatoes. We're just going to half them so that they're a little bit easier to eat than eating a whole cherry tomato. And about a half a cup, good handful. I did wash all my produce ahead of time. Definitely make sure you're doing that. Okay, maybe one more. That looks good. Okay. Let's get our red onion diced up. So I've got nice little slices. I'm just going to come across and do a very fine dice. So these exact ingredients would be great for a Greek salad as well. I love chickpeas on a salad to make it a lot more heftier of a dish. So just over your lettuce greens of choice, these exact ingredients, your cucumber, tomato, red onion, chickpeas, and feta. Perfect little Greek salad. You could squeeze some lemon juice. You could do a similar dressing, or like a Greek dressing normally would be like a red vinaigrette, or any kind of oil-based dressing really would go well with a Greek salad. Okay. A little bit more here. All righty. That looks pretty good. We'll save the rest of these. Yeah, you can see that pretty colorful array of our produce selection here. Okay, I think we are ready to build our bowl. So let me see, let me take a peek real quick, see what kind of favorite cuisines we've got going on in the group. All right. Oh, yes, a comment on now is the time to start growing those herbs in our gardens. Absolutely. Thanks for the reminder, Penny. Yep. If anyone has a green thumb, now's your time. We do grow some herbs. We have mint, rosemary, sometimes basil. Usually that's my husband's little baby project out there on our deck. I don't have the greenest thumb, but I do appreciate the fresh produce. Okay, let's start with our lentils. And not that it's hard. It's certainly not hard. Anyone could have a little container herb garden. All right, so I've got my cooked lentils. Oh, let's see, the light's not very good. Can you see those? So they don't grow much in size. They do expand just a bit after you cook them. And they take on whatever flavor you use with them. So, if you want to use a little bit of a low sodium broth, if you want to add in any other flavorings to your lentils, any herbs or spices after you've cooked them. There's my base of lentils. And to that, we are going to add on, let's see, how do I want to arrange this? I'm going to start with our veggies that we did. We're going to do red onion. Tomato. Let me get a spoon. Tomatoes, cucumbers, and then our chickpeas. Feta. Little. Okay. So here's what we're looking like so far. Of course, you can mix this all up when you eat it, but I think it's a really pretty presentation to keep it all kind of separate. And now for our sauce. So we're just going to drizzle this over the top. And you could certainly toss all those fresh chopped veg and chickpeas in a bowl with the sauce and get everything nice and coated and then top it. That would look very nice as well. Let's do our little lemon garnish here. Okay. There we go. So this is our Greek lentil power bowl. Very filling, lots of great fiber, lots of great protein. Again, if you're prepping this stuff, you might as well prep a little extra, and then you can use it in other dishes as well. These ingredients would, again, make a really delicious salad. You could use couscous as your base, or quinoa as your base, or some brown rice, getting a whole grain in if you wanted something a little different than lentils. Okay, let's give this a try. I'll mix it up a little bit. Try to get a little bite of everything. What else would you add to this recipe? Or substitute out if something on here is not your favorite? I definitely think some Kalamata olives would be so good. Okay, here we go. That's delicious. So fresh. The yogurt sauce brings a good amount of flavor. Zucchini, yep, that'd be really good in here. So would squash. Really, any leftover veggies you have cooked up, just adding them to this cold would be really good. Spinach, yeah, totally. Spinach would be great in here, even with the lentils. Doing the lentils and spinach as your base, that those leafy greens would add not only a ton of good nutrition, but also really good crunch and texture to this. I'm gonna add a little lemon juice on top. Oh, I didn't do my black pepper. Definitely will be adding that as I eat this for lunch. It's over there across the room on my dining room table, so I'm not gonna grab it now, but a little bit of black pepper. This is gonna be perfect. Tuna would go really well with this too. So once it's all mixed up, I mean, this is going to be a good amount of food. This is going to keep me full until dinner time. So let me know if y'all have questions. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.